Does it feel like your life is going in repeat? The same shit every single day? The same relationships, the same obstacles, the same problems? Well, this is the thing. Our life will continue to cycle around with the same energy over and over again until we learn the lesson. We have two choices: evolve or repeat. My name is Angela Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach. I specialise in healing after narcissistic abuse, and I also offer twin flame and spiritual guidance. This is the thing. We're here to evolve, but we don't even know that. When we're conditioned, when we're in this mentality of same shit, different day, we don't know that there is a life outside of the life that we're living. We really don't, and we're never aware. We're going through the same stuff over and over again, but we don't see the pattern. We're just, like I mentioned this before, it's like we're in this cloud of darkness and we don't see a way out of it. And we just think, okay, we're not even aware. We think, right, this is life. Life is full of obstacles. Life is full of turmoil. Life is full of negativity. And like, if you're repeating the same relationship patterns, life is full of assholes. That's the way we see it. And, I always just thought that, I never, I don't even know what I thought. When I was in the conditioned reality, when I was repeating the same patterns, I don't know what I was thinking, because I wasn't really fucking thinking. I was so unaware of everything that I just didn't see the patterns. It was only later on, when I started to actually consciously heal and consciously become self-aware, that I realized, hey now, that's familiar. So this is what you see. Ask yourself, does this look like the same thing you've gone through before? Is it familiar? Are you meeting the same kind of partners? For example, narcissistic partners. For me, I didn't even realize I was attracting narcissistic partners until I actually done research on narcissistic abuse, and then attracted another one. And I had a narcissistic boss. And I'm like, this can't be a coincidence. When I learned there is no such thing. That's the thing. We think life is just a coincidence. This is a coincidence. This just happened because it's a coincidence. No, there's no such thing as coincidence. Everything happens for a reason. Everything is there for a reason. If something happens more than once, it's teaching you something. So like in a good sense, if you're seeing repeating numbers, if you see an animal a few times, look it up. What's the definition of that, or what's the meaning of that spirit animal? Anything that repeats itself, Google it. Find out, why are you being shown this? Because if you're being shown a message over and over and over again, like a name or a sign or something to do with your career or a relationship or a holiday, anything, it means you should do it, or it means you should look into what it's showing you. But say when it comes to relationships, when we're stuck in that bubble, we're going to continue to repeat. It's like, it is evolve or repeat. And unless you become aware, you're never going to evolve. For me personally, I went through an 8-year narcissistic relationship when I was in my 20s. I got very quickly into another toxic relationship for 1.5 years. And I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to take a break. I took a break, and then I started to date again. And I was like, this guy is all too familiar. Why is he so familiar? I was just after doing research on narcissistic abuse because my ex was a narc. And I was like, hold on now a second. This isn't a coincidence. Why am I after attracting another narcissist, even though I thought I was healed? At the same time, I was looking for another job because my boss was a narc, and he was after pushing out so many other workers and supervisors that I was like, I need to go. So I at that stage, I'd realized there's no such thing as coincidence. So I was like, there has to be a reason for this. Why am I repeating the same pattern? Because my internal healing wasn't done. I thought I'd healed on the surface, but my inner child was still wounded, so she was still attracting narcissists. It was only then that I started to discover the patterns of life. And I started to realize we will be presented with the same person in a different form, even if that's not romantic. So if you have a tendency to attract narcissists, you will notice that it's not just partners, it's friendships, it's family members, it's bosses. I've worn all the t-shirts, you know what I mean? I ended up attracting narcissists left, right and center. And I was like, this has to be something that I need to learn. So if it keeps coming up, so an illness, like this is the thing I was thinking about this morning, repetitive strain injury. If you keep getting a pain in the same muscle over and over and over again, it means you're doing something fucking wrong. I used to do this inside when I was working in a factory. I used to do a lot of manual work, and I used to pull the same muscles over and over again. And it was only then I realised maybe I'm not doing my manual handling correctly. If I'd have learned that early on, I wouldn't be kept getting repetitive strain injury. And also I find as well, a lot of times if we pull muscles or have pains or aches, it can be an internal thing that we have to heal through our energy centres. So if, like for me, I get a pain right between my shoulder blades, you know what I mean? And it's not because I've done any exertion or anything, it's because my higher heart, my heart chakra needs healing. So that this is it, it's a sign. If something is repetitive, it's a sign for you to look at it and see what lesson you need to be learned, because it will keep repeating. It will, really will. And the same with jobs. If you keep going into jobs and meeting a narcissistic boss, it kind of is a lesson to say, you're not supposed to work for people anymore, work for yourself. You know what I mean? Because you're not an narc, so you're fine. Do you know what I mean? So like, you have to see what life is trying to show you. If you, as I said, if you get the same illness over and over again, this is something that you need to ask yourself. It's not because you're sick. Well, it is because you're sick, but like, it's not because it's something internal that you can heal, that you can prevent from happening again. Anytime there's something that does continue to cycle around in your life, it's something that you need to become aware of. One of the ones that I was thinking of there as well, if we're stagnant in life, if we're not attracting in the thing that we want the most, ask yourself, what are you doing in order to prevent that? So what came to mind for me, like, you know what I mean? I've lived out of home for a long time. Like, I moved out when I was 18. But like, I used to always go back, right? And I know a lot of people do this. You go back to your parents' house, and the first thing you do is raid the treat press. And you could be on a diet, or you could be on a healthy, eating regime. You probably mightn't even eat chocolate anymore. And that's the first thing you do. You go back and visit your parents, and you turn into a teenager. They start treating you like a teenager, and then you become codependent on them. I was doing this for a long time, and I already had to see the cycle repeat itself until I realised. I was literally acting like a child when I visited my dad because he treated me like a child. There would be sweet wrappers everywhere. I'd never clean up after myself. And I'm a tidy person, and I am now, and I live alone, so I had to, keep things clean. But because I was, because I knew he'd pick up the stuff after me, I actually ended up just leaving it there. And that was a continued cycle until I realised I'm in a codependent energy. Every time I go home to my parents, my dad's, like, I end up in a codependent energy. So that's the same if you live with your parents later in life or anything. You end up mirroring the energy of your teenage self, and your parent treats you like a teenager. So like, if you're continuing to repeat a pattern of, I'm a teenager, I'm being treated like a teenager by my parent, so therefore I'm going to continue like this, how are you going to attract in the life that you desire? So this is what I was kind of feeling yesterday. Like, if you want the divine relationship, if you want the purpose, but you're continuing to live the life of a teenage person, you're repeating a cycle that will not end until you break out of that cycle. So there is other aspects of life as well. Are you going into a job every day where your boss is narcissistic, where you're actually you're getting into rows with your boss every day? Or even, back to the parent thing. Like, I had to walk away from my dad because every time I visited him, there was a cycle of aggression. There was a cycle of fighting. There was always turmoil. And it's the same if you're going into a boss that you don't get along with. Are you continuously fighting? Is there agitation there? And this is another thing we keep doing. We keep moaning about our lives as if, oh my God, I'm stuck here. You're not stuck anywhere. You get to evolve. You get to make the choice every single day whether or not you're going to stay in that situation. This is it. We go into this victim mentality. We think that life happens to us, that life is cruel, that we're being punished, and that we have no way out. This is one of the biggest lies we've been ever told. You have more power than you know. You have the power every single day to make the choice whether to continue in a miserable cycle or to break yourself out of it. If you're in a toxic relationship, are you continuously having arguments with your partner? And this doesn't have to be romantic. This can be friendships. This can be family members. This, as I said, can be work relationships. Is there constantly agitation? Are you walking on eggshells continuously around people? You know, if there's a repeated pattern over and over again, it's a warning sign from the universe, get the fuck out or do something to change it. And you have the power to change that. You know, I stopped attracting narcissists because I learned what I was attracting them and I learned the pattern. And then I was able to break the pattern. The same with narcissistic bosses, I was able to break the pattern. The same with toxic family dynamics, I was able to break the pattern. Eventually, and we're so, I don't know what it is, like that cloud of darkness that we're in, we don't seem to see it. So how do we see it? We become aware. Be aware. Like everything, every single thing in this life, every little detail happens for a reason. The smallest thing is happening for a reason. You know what I mean? So you have the responsibility as well. You could say to yourself that you're meeting these avoidant partners or, you know, somebody who won't show up for you. But where are you not showing up for yourself? Are you allowing this behavior? Is it the same? Like, this is another one. Oh my God. This really bugs me lately. You haven't spoken to someone in a few months and then you have a conversation with them and you could go back over that. Oh, Jesus. It's the same conversation you had 3 months ago. They have not evolved. They have repeated. And you're like, oh my God, please, oh my God, I want to get out of that. Get out of it. Do you know? And then you have to ask yourself, what can you do to change that cycle? You can walk away, but ask, you know, when it comes to relationships especially, we're creatures of codependency and neediness and desperation, right? When we don't heal our shit. I watch First Dates just to psychoanalyze people. And this woman was on a date with a guy. They were so incompatible. And when it came to afterwards, and she was like, she actually more or less said, you know, I don't think he's for me. I don't really think it works out, but we'll see what happens. In other words, she was like, if he says yes, I'll go on a date with him. So she actually said yes to him, even though there was no compatibility whatsoever. They were complete opposites. They would not get on. And he said no, and she was like, okay, that's fine. But she would have actually gotten into a relationship just for the sheer fact that she needed something. Like, she was repeating a pattern there. She was going into something with desperation. She was so afraid of being on her own that she was repeating a pattern into a toxic dynamic. We have to become aware of what we're doing. And, like, you know, ask yourself, is there anything you can do to change your situation? Are you the one that's also repeating a pattern? Do you know what I mean? Are you, like, you know, we have to... People are a reflection of us. So everyone we meet actually can show us something that we need to heal in ourselves. So if you're actually seeing repeated patterns with external people, there's something that's within you that you need to change as well. What can you do to step back or to change your dynamic? This is so important. Like, nothing ever changes if you continue the same energy over and over again. If you're allowing people into your energy that are depleting you or that are doing the same pattern or doing the same behavior that they've always done, they're never going to change. You keep attracting the same thing over and over again until you change it. You change it. No one can change it for you. You can't just sit there and expect somebody else's behavior to change or a cycle to change. It's not going to change until you learn your lesson and do something about it. This is so important. Every single thing has a lesson. Everything. Like, you know, and I've gotten so self-aware now. So every trigger that I get or every thing that happens or changes in my life, I will sit with that. Every decision I need to make, I will sit with that. I will ask myself, is this for me? Will this be good for me? What can I do to expand? Expansion. Oh my God, we're here to expand, evolve and expand. Like, are you growing? You know what I mean? Sometimes we think we're going so slow that we're not growing, but look at yourself. Like, I love to do this. Measure yourself 3 months ago, a week ago even. Are you, like, if you're the same person you were a week ago, there's something wrong. I'm sorry, but as we transform and evolve and ascend, every week is different. That's how you know you're evolving and not repeating. You know what I mean? So everything is changing. So look back in 3 months, 6 months, a year ago. Were you the same person then as you are now? If you are, there's a problem. If nothing has changed in a year, you need to get your shit together. Seriously. This is a big one. Because I do find, like, I even, simple thing, like, it's not even a week for me. I heal at my week. My weekends are for healing for myself. And, you know, where I was Saturday morning is not where I am now. I'm not the same person I was Saturday morning that I am now. You know what I mean? I've evolved within 2 days. You know, I there's a completely different energy because I'm healing quicker, because I'm aware. I'm able to sit with that energy and I'm able to say to myself, okay, what do I need to heal from this? What can I do to change this pattern? Because I was going through another pattern. I was going through another cycle and I was like, this is not happening. I can't do this again. I just cannot fucking do this again. And I have to sit with my shit over the weekend and see how I could change my patterns. Do you know, how I could break my own cycles? So sit with it. Ask yourself, are you the same person you were last week? Because if you are, there's something wrong. I'm sorry, but every week should be different. Every week you should feel stronger than you did the week before. Every week you should have changed something to transform your life. You're not supposed to stay stuck in the same energy over and over again. You're not supposed to stay stuck in the same relationship patterns over and over again. You're supposed to evolve. You're supposed to break free from toxic dynamics, choose yourself, and break out of those cycles. So ask yourself, how are you keeping yourself stuck? Because it is you. You have the choice here. Are you choosing every day to be miserable? Or are you choosing every day to evolve? Because that is what we're here for. We're here to ascend. We're here to transform. We're here to become the best version of ourselves. We're here to expand. So every single day, you should be one step further than you were yesterday. Even if it's a baby step, you know, just know that nothing will ever change if you don't change it. And that quote from, I think it's Einstein, is like, if the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Just doesn't work like that. You need to break the cycle, change the situation, and change your life. So thank you so much for listening today, and I really hope this resonates. If it does, please like and share, and please subscribe to my channel so I can reach as many people as possible. And if you'd like help on your journey, please book me for a free discovery call today, and I'd love nothing more than to help you on your path. Also, I will be hosting my first free webinar this Friday, August 8th at 6 p.m. Ireland UK time. I will be speaking on healing after narcissistic abuse, inner child work, inner teen work, and shadow work. Hope to see you there. If you need any information, just comment below.